Hi, my name is Ms. Cruz, and I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about proportions of the head and go ahead and demonstrate how to get started on creating a head. So I went ahead and made this example. Definitely refer back to your notes, but your head starts off with an oval shape and then a smaller oval shape for the chin to mark it off, and then you have the width of your head should be 5 eyes wide. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another reference point is your eyes are in the middle of your head, between your head, so you mark that point. The tip of your nose is actually between your eyes and your chin, and then between the tip of your nose and your chin, slightly above that, is the bottom of your lip. And so that's how I got that. Now the ears, where your ear meets your head, if you drew an imaginary line across, it should meet your eyeball. You can go ahead and practice that now. If you put your finger to the corner of your eye and then went straight across to your head, you should feel where your ear comes down and connects to your head. And the bottom of your ear, it does vary from person to person, but usually where the tip of your nose is usually where it ends, typically on a normal average size head. So yeah, that's how we got that. Neck usually comes down where your jaw starts to come, where it starts to narrow down. That's where the lines go off for the neck. Common mistake students make is that they make the necks too small, and so you need to always look where the ears are. The neck starts to come down more from that, more vertical. So I'm going to go ahead and model for you. I'm going to go ahead and go create a head on a brand new page just so you can see how I do it. You want your drawing to be large. And you're going to be doing this in your sketchbook. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do is start with a good size circle. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and I always overlap another circle, a small circle that overlaps the bottom. And this kind of acts like a chin. Now you can see the way I'm holding my pencil too. Holding it, I'm doing sketch-like marks, very loosely, not pressing down, as opposed, like if I'm writing something, because you tend to get harder lines. But when you hold it like this, you are able to, you still have control over it, but the lines aren't so hard, and your hand moves around more freely. So go ahead and try it that way. So there we have that. You can go ahead and get your eraser and start to erase these lines, because we actually don't need them anymore. Okay, and then that kind of gives you a nice starting point. Okay. Alright, the next thing I'd like to show you how to do is to find the middle. So, you want to estimate where the middle is, and just kind of draw a line, like if it's going around this egg-like shape, and just use your hand as a measuring tool from the top to the middle, and then move it down, and it's about that same height. So this is where our eyes are going to be located, because they are in the middle of the head. It doesn't seem right now, but trust me, our eyes are in the middle of our head. So our head is estimately about 5 eyes wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want them to be somewhat close. So you can just kind of eyeball it for now. Just kind of move the lines out if you have too much room on one side than the other. So that's decent. So one of our eyes will go here and another will go here. Okay. Also, the tip of our nose is between our eyes and the bone of our chin. So I'm going to go ahead and mark off where our tip of the nose is. So use your fingers to measure. That's about right. Alright. Don't worry about getting it just perfect. We're still sketching. We can always come back in later and really finesse the lines. Okay, so between the tip of the nose and the bottom of the chin, that's about the middle, but you want to go a little bit above that, and that's going to be where the bottom of your lips are. Okay. So now that we have these reference points, we want to go ahead and get some width regarding how wide the nose is and how long the mouth is. So, rule of thumb, in the middle, if this is our eye, we drew an imaginary line down in the middle of the eye. This is where our mouth would end on the side. Okay, so it's just like a little mark. And our noses are usually as wide as one eye that's between our eyes. So our nose should hit about there and should about there. Okay. Okay. And let's see if there's anything else. Our ears is actually, if this was the corner of our eye, we can draw an imaginary line going across. And our ear, we wouldn't start our ears on the outside. Our ears are on our head, so we're going to actually overlap our ears. It's going to start about there and end about where the tip of the nose is, about right there. So we can actually start to draw an ear. Okay, and do the same. So ear, there's the bottom of the nose. Okay. Alright, so there we have it so far. Now eyes, once you get the hang of it regarding how they look, it will come to you a lot easier. Let's go ahead and take a look at first of what not to do. I had created some examples of what not to do for eyes, and they're located right here. So these are examples of what not to do. The color of your eyes, that is actually called the iris. And then all of us have black pupils, that's the center. And then of course the shape of the eye is the outside. So what you shouldn't do is put your iris in full view in your drawing, where you can see the full iris. That's a common mistake that a lot of students do. Another thing is students make the iris too large, to where it covers up almost the whole eye, and in turn it makes the pupil really, really large as well. So those are some things of what not to do. What you should be doing is you should be overlapping the top part of the iris and the bottom part of the iris behind the eyelids. Or you can overlap the top of the iris on the top of the eyelid, and the bottom of your iris can be exposed, this little curvy part right there. Okay, and since we're on the subject of eyes, let's go ahead and look at eyelids. Eyelids, we all have creases where our eyes fold, and it starts at one corner and goes across, and that it doesn't connect. So that's something else that we need to make note of when we draw. Okay? Alright, go ahead and go back to our drawing, and let's look at that. So our eyes, all eyes are different. So go ahead, and it's almost like in the shape of footballs, but we have this little tear duct area. We don't want this to droop too low, and we want to kind of meet here at the edge. This is the white of our eye. I'm going to go ahead and it's going to overlap our top lid, our irises, and here's our pupil. And here's my eyelid. I'm going to do the same. It's hard getting the same shape, but to be honest, sometimes a lot of us have different shaped eyes, so don't worry about getting it even. Okay, and then I'm going to try to make this eye to look just like that, or similar, close. Okay, and then the eyelid, I think that's a little high. Okay, alright, now that we have that, there we go, there's our eyes. So, just color that in a little bit more depth. Alright, so let's go ahead and start on our nose. Our nose, I guess we should come back over here and I should show you what to do, what not to do for noses. But our noses, this is what noses typically look like. And of course there's other ways too, but I just want to show you some common ways. And these are what not to do. These are very common mistakes of how students draw noses, where you can completely see the nostrils and such. So I can go ahead and show you how to do that. Go ahead and show you. Okay. Alright, so how do you do that? Go ahead and show you right up here. It's like line, scoop down and then go back where you started. And then there's our nostril sides that kind of come around. And notice I didn't really connect anything. It kind of gives that illusion that it's there. You might be able to put just a little bit, but don't worry about these nostrils just yet. I want you to just get the main features in place. So, if we know the sides of our nostrils are here, I'm going to go ahead and draw that right there. And then we're going to go ahead and come back around. It takes practice. Don't get discouraged if yours doesn't look exactly the way you want. In fact, I went ahead and I wanted mine to come down just a little bit more. And so you'll get the hang of it. So there's that. There's my nose. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about mouths. Now, mouth, I have another section over here I want to show you. Mouths aren't that hard to draw, but I guess the most important thing you need to know is that our lips are very shapely. I think we really don't have any straight lines pretty much anywhere on our face, and so we need to remember that when we're drawing our mouths. So I guess the biggest tip I can tell you is that we do have some curviness right in the middle of our lips where our lips meet, and we do have this little indentation part at the top of our mouth that kind of helps bring it all together. And not always, but the ends of our mouth don't always meet, like the top line and the bottom line. So just remember that. It just depends on if you're looking at a mouth to draw or if you're just drawing from memory, that they don't always have to meet, similar to that. And these are ways of how not to draw mouths, using straight lines or too curvy and such. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice that. Now we know this is our our bottom lip. And I can tell you I'm going to be erasing some of this. Here's the middle of my lips.